Alright, what's happening everybody? It's your boy Akeem and welcome to the Sports News Insider College Football Blog. I'm here to continue my previews of all the major BCS conferences in college football. Today, we're going to focus on the Big East, the beast from the East. Headline story to begin with is that we have a new addition to this conference, TCU, coming out of the Mountain West. Now, for this past decade in college football, TCU has been wreaking havoc and putting a name out for themselves, including a couple of conference championships in Conference USA and the Mountain West. They jumped from a couple of conferences, from Conference USA to the Mountain West, now the Big East. Now, for the past 2 seasons, they went to the BCS Bowl game, the Fiesta Bowl back in 2009, in which they lost to Boise State, and last season going undefeated and beating Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl. This is a great team, and I believe this is a great addition to the Big East Conference because this adds strength and depth to the conference and strength of schedule for the teams. Now, another big change in the Big East Conference is that there are a couple of coaching changes within some of the biggest schools, starting with UConn. Randy Edsall is no longer with the team. He accepted a hiring job at Maryland. So UConn has a new head coach, and it's a familiar name, Paul Pasqualoni out of Syracuse. Now, in the 90s, he won 4 Big East titles, and this is a great head coach, known for running his run-freeze option offense. This is a great head coach, and I think he could lead UConn back to another major BCS bowl game. But the question that everybody, including myself, has in mind is that who's going to be his starting running back? Now, last season, Jordan Todman, the star running back, he was their workhorse. He was the Big East Offensive Player of the Year, but he's no longer with the team, joining of the NFL. So one player I do have in mind is DJ Shoemate. He's a good, reliable running back who can give you some tough yardage. Hopefully, he can step up this season and help out that running game for Paul Pasqualoni and the UConn Huskies, but we will see. Now, a couple other head coaching changes are Todd Graham. He's the new head coach for the Pitt Panthers. He's a good head coach. And West Virginia received a great offensive-minded coach in Dana Holgorsen. He came from Oklahoma State University, and he has a brilliant offensive mind, and he has a great offensive weapons to play with. He has Geno Smith, Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin is a great player. He's a good all-purpose player who can run the ball as well as receive the ball. I think Holgorsen can help this team run the table and make it to that national championship, but we will see. Now, a couple of major games that everybody definitely needs to look at is on September 24th, one of the biggest games of the season for West Virginia. They're going to face LSU from the Southeastern Conference, a tough conference and a tough school, and I think this is going to be a great game. A couple other matchups that you need to look at is on October 8th, UConn is going to face West Virginia, and on November 12th, Cincinnati is going to face West Virginia at West Virginia. That's going to be a great game. And for the final 2 games for West Virginia this season include their backyard brawl on November 25th against their arch rival Pitt Panthers, and on December 1st they have to go at South Florida and play the Bulls. Now, for a lot of seasons this past decade that just passed in college football, South Florida has spoiled West Virginia's season and beaten the Mountaineers. But we will see this year. This is the final game for the Mountaineers of their regular season, and hopefully they can end the season undefeated. And I think they can do that as well. Now, there's a couple of impact players that you really need to look at this season in the Big East Conference, starting with Geno Smith, the quarterback from West Virginia. He led the league last season in passing efficiency. He's a great passer. He has a good arm. Plus, he's a good dual threat. He can also beat you with his feet. He's a good mobile quarterback, and everybody's going to keep their eyes on him this year. He's the front runner for the Big East Offensive Player of the Year, and might even be a good candidate for the Heisman Trophy if West Virginia goes undefeated. We will see. And on the defensive side for West Virginia, Bruce Irvin. Everybody's going to look at this kid. Last season, he was second in the nation in sacks with 14 sacks. He's a great defensive end. A couple other players that you need to look at is from Cincinnati, Zach Collaros, the quarterback for the Bearcats. He had over 2,900 yards passing, which led the Big East. He's a good quarterback. I think he can have a breakthrough season. 26 touchdowns with 14 interceptions last year. He's a good quarterback. Plus, they have a good running back as well in Isaiah Peed. He's another running back that you need to look. Another player from Cincinnati that you need to look at. He rushed for over 1,000 yards this season, 6 yards a carry. He's a good speedster running back. And plus, another teammate of theirs is DJ Woods. Last season, he had just under 900 yards receiving with 8 touchdowns. He's a great receiver, and I think he's going to be one of the top receivers returning in the Big East. So Cincinnati has a good three-head monster on the offensive side, so you need to look out for them. And a couple of breakthrough players that you need to look at are B.J. Daniels and from South Florida and Ray Graham from the Pitt Panthers. Now, Ray Graham is a good, reliable running back. He ended up backing up Dion Lewis last season, and he had a couple of great games that showed some spark and put a name for himself nationally. And I think he could be the workhorse for the Pitt Panthers this season. And B.J. Daniels, he's a good dual threat just like Geno Smith. He could run the ball as well as throw. But the thing he really needs to work on is his passing decisions. If he works on his passing decision making and does well in the passing game, he could be a big time threat in the Big East. And I think and South Florida can be a surprise this season. Now, my award winners I got to give to the Big East Offensive Player of the Year. In my prediction, I'm going to have to go with Geno Smith. He's a good dual threat quarterback, very mobile and agile player, and everybody's going to have him on the spotlight. So you definitely got to look out for him. And for Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Bruce Irvin because last season he had 14 sacks. He's one of my top prospects that I need to look at for the NFL this season, and he's a good athletic player. I do like this kid. Now, the Newcomer Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Zach Brown. He's a newcomer that everybody needs to look at. He's a transfer from Wisconsin. Now, he had played 3 great years at Wisconsin, backing up good running backs like Monty Ball and John Clay. He's a good, reliable running back. And the reason why he is eligible to play right away at Pittsburgh after transferring is that because he already graduated and received a degree at Wisconsin. According to NCAA rules, if you receive a degree, you can transfer to another school and play right away. And this is a good fit for the Pitt Panthers. I think him and Ray Graham could be a great complement one another. Zach Brown could give you those tough yardage, and I do like this kid. So I definitely look out for him for Newcomer Player of the Year. Now, the winner of the Big East, I'm going to go with West Virginia. They're just stocked on the offensive side. They got big man Bray Clark. He could give you those tough yardage, hard to tackle. Plus, I already mentioned Geno Smith. I think he's going to have a big out year, but there's a couple of games that they do need to worry about, like South Florida and the Pitt Panthers this season at the end of the year. But if they go through them, go through all these teams and run the table, they can make it to that national championship. Plus, I mentioned earlier about Tavon Austin. He's a big-time all-purpose player. He's a great receiver, just under 800 yards receiving, and I do like him a lot. He can also run the ball as well and help out that running game. He's a good all-purpose player. So West Virginia, I definitely got to go with this team because they are just stocked. Plus, Bruce Irvin leading the way on defense. They can have a lot of great players, and I think they can run the table and make it to that national championship. But we will see. Now, my Big East sleeper, I'm going to go with South Florida. They have a great quarterback in B.J. Daniels, in my opinion. If he just gets his maturity together and matures this season and become a great quarterback that I know that he has the potential of being, he could wreak havoc in the Big East and win that Big East title for the Bulls. I think that South Florida has a great team, and I think they're getting everything together, but they really need B.J. Daniels to step up and be that guy to lead this team. Now, this Friday, I'm gonna continue my previews. This Friday, I'm gonna give you my preview of the Big Ten Conference. Thank you for watching today's vlog from Sports News Insider. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.